how is your headspace? You're not even out of COVID yet, and now you're dealing with a big volcano that has erupted, and the asphalt and all the stuff from the volcano is now landing in Barbados. I saw some pictures of the cars with all the stuff on top of it. You can hardly see the cars. Like when snow falls in New York and the sweepers come and brush the snow up against the cars, you can't even see the car. That's what I'm seeing in Barbados. So from the situation in St. Vincent and Grenadines, where what do you call it again? The
volcano.
right. The volcano's erupting, and now you're seeing all of this stuff going on in Barbados and other. Where's your headspace with that first?
Man, I am almost afraid to ask what comes next. Right? It is unreal. I mean, you did a perfect analogy. You said it's like seeing snow on the ground, but the only problem is that snow does not blow up in your face and choke you. Mm-hmm. It is unreal. Barbados is blanketed in heavy volcanic dust at the moment. It's falling from the sky just like snow. You're actually seeing it dropping just like snow. It's covering everything, but it's a lot more toxic than snow is. So mm-hmm. it is unreal, man. But wow. Having said that, as bad as it is for us, I know how much worse it is for those in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and my heart goes out to them. I mean, Barbados stands ready to help them in their time of need. It's as rough as it is for us or anybody else who's getting the side effects of it. It must be horrible to be there with your life in peril, your property in peril, your economy in shambles, and at the whim of something that's quite frankly an act of God. And there's nothing you can do to stop it. There's nothing you can do to protect against it. You just have to hope and pray. So my heart goes out.
Now here's a question. Here's a question a lot of people are asking. Now people are saying, well, could they have prevented it? No, you can't prevent it. But could you have seen it coming more earlier than you saw it coming? Could you have been? Well, I can't ask you that because this is out of your jurisdiction. But do you think that if they had more equipment, better equipment, more involvement from the University of the West Indies, that they could have predicted it and could have been more prepared? Well, not you guys, but the Vincentians could be more prepared to evacuate it and move, and then you guys would be more prepared to accept the people, and then take care of all the other things. Now, I understand that all businesses are closed in Barbados. There are only maybe 2 main businesses that are open tomorrow. Talk about that.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's fair to say that they could have been more prepared. There were rumblings since December last year. There was indication that the seismic activity was increasing. We were getting very regular reports of the seismic activity. So the Vincentians knew as much as anybody could know that something was coming. But Dahved, say A and say B, people are people. And as much as you may want to flee to freedom or flee to safety, you're very loath to leave your house and your possessions and everything you have behind and move until it's the exact last moment. I mean, when hurricanes are coming towards the United States, you keep hearing people say, evacuate the Florida Keys, evacuate Miami, evacuate. And people wait until the last moment because it's human nature to try to hold on to what it is that you have.
You know what? Let me jump in very quickly now. That's a very legitimate point that you've made. When you run away and leave all your possessions, all the stuff that you've had for years, your furniture, your electricity stuff, all that stuff you leave and go. So I got the point now where a person wants to hold on to their livelihood to as the last minute as they can before they have to run and leave it and might be coming back. The stuff might not even be there. Everything might be gone.
Yeah, correct. And I mean, your house might just literally be gone. It might be swallowed up in ash or destroyed by the volcano or crushed by falling rocks. And people try their best to hold on as long as they can and only move when there is no other option. When the mandatory evacuation order was given, some people still didn't even want to go. So it wasn't a case of not having sufficient notice. It was a case of human nature and holding on to what is there to you. Wow.
Okay. So for those of us who've got elderly parents and grandparents in Barbados, people with asthma, now how does, I also got some information that they said they don't want the stuff touching your skin, that it could be hazardous if it touches your skin. You now have to wear, for those who didn't want to wear masks before, now they're forced to wear masks now because now you're inhaling all of this stuff, all this carbon dioxide, all these fumes. that can cut off your lungs and all kind of things. So where are we with that scenario happening? Is it factual that if it touches your skin, it could be harmful? Is it factual that now it is affecting the breathing of persons and now sending those with asthma to a next level? Is that factual?
No, it is factual. This is an asthmatic or somebody who suffers from sinuses. This is your worst nightmare. Because no matter how much you lock down your house, my house is locked down tight, but there's still dust everywhere.
So
and
you're saying your house is locked down tight, but because of the power of this volcano, there's dust everywhere.
There's dust everywhere, and the problem is you can't even use air conditioning units because the dust from the dust from the volcano will actually clog up and destroy your AC units. So people are varying between being locked in a house and easing the window open to get a little bit of air. So it is a really uncomfortable situation, and the elderly are suffering because, my mom is old, and you can tell old people whatever it is that you want to tell them, but they will do their own thing. And they're already resistant in many instances to wearing the mask, even for COVID. So try telling somebody who's set in their ways that to go outside, you need to put on a raincoat, right? And don't look up because the dust is going to get in your eyes. So it is a challenge, but Barbadians were resistant initially and not taking it entirely seriously. But by today, where the dust is literally everywhere, there's nowhere you can go in Barbados and not see a blanket of white. And it's not snow, it's dust.
And it's not snow.
And it is getting thicker.
That's crazy.
No.
That's crazy to me. Wow. So let's talk about what can we do. We're in America. We're in Canada. We're in London. We all over. What can the people outside of Barbados do? The region, America, Europe, Canada, South America, Central America. What can we do to help Barbados right now?
Dahved, this is the one time I would tell you, I don't even want to be so insular as to say, what can you do to help Barbados now? I think the persons who are, we will get through it.
Okay.
Right? We will get through it. It is something that we're just going to have to carry over time, and nature will take care of a lot of it. But the persons who are most in distress and most in need of assistance are actually our brothers and sisters in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They're the ones who all of their crops are dead, right? They're the ones who their economy is now crumbling. They're the ones who need urgent camp cots and water tanks and sanitary facilities and just basic hygiene things. They're the ones who actually need it more than we do. So as much as I appreciate all the concern for Barbados, we are inconvenienced. It is a nuisance. It is a bit of a dangerous nuisance, but we still have most of our resources intact that we can deal with what it is that we have ourselves. I understand you're going to have the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and Grenadines on your show a bit later. I reach out to him. They're the ones who really need the hand at this point in time. It's an inconvenience and nuisance for us, but it is really a life-changing and life-threatening experience for them.
Now, has COVID changed your thought process of managing Barbados? And then since COVID has changed your thought process, if it did, how does this now impact your thought process for more things coming down the pike, maybe in another year or two?
Well, Barbados is a heavily tourism-dependent country, and COVID has crippled tourism across the world. So we are already suffering significantly from the lack of our major income earner in the country. And we were about to get back on our feet and looking, because we're heavily vaccinating in Barbados, and we've gotten our COVID situation under control, very well under control. So we were looking to reopen and welcome back tourists by next month. And now with this is another setback because the airspace is closed right now, and we don't know whether this is going to be going on for days or weeks or months. And that is something that only God knows in this one. So it forces you to actually look at what is going on around you. It forces you to look at what is important to you. And then you start to think, if you were to be asked, what are all the things that are important to you, you could probably list off your car, you list off your dog, you list off all sorts of things. But if you had to pick up and run and leave everything and save your life, what would you actually take? So it tends to focus you, the COVID situation, and now this focuses you on what is really, really important and makes us realize that a lot of things that we hold dear are not actually necessities, they're luxuries. And if we had to do without them, that we could. So the way of life for a lot of Barbadians has changed significantly. It has simplified. Most Barbadians would have by now left over the last year, gone somewhere, whether it's to another Caribbean territory, whether it's to Miami to shop. A lot of Barbadians would have left. And we cannot fathom being on the rock for so long. But we've learned that the shopping trips that you thought you had to do and the family that you thought you had to visit, you actually don't.
Right. Or you can visit them on Zoom. Or you can do it on Zoom. Or you can do it on Zoom.
Or you can do it on Zoom. Correct.
I've got one more question for you before you go now. It's brought to my attention, what are requirements for people now? I know that some of the persons in St. Vincent and the Grenadines are getting on cruise ships. Those cruise ships are taking them to different islands. What are the requirements that are needed for a person to enter Barbados? Do they have to be vaccinated? Do they have to take the COVID test? What are the requirements?
Yeah, to come into Barbados, you need to have a negative PCR test that is done within 72 hours of arriving in Barbados, and then the quarantine protocols kick in after that. I mean, there'll be different protocols for someone who's gone through their entire vaccination process, and it's 2 weeks old, which is when the vaccine, technically speaking, matures and is most effective. So the protocols are evolving, but the basic protocol right now is that you still need the negative PCR test to enter Barbados, and the protocols are going to be relaxed significantly depending on whether you're fully vaccinated or not. And those are coming out very, very shortly. So you asked a very, very timely question, but a lot of what is going to go on in travel in the world is going to be dependent on vaccinations, and you can't get away from it. Okay. That's the reality.
Okay, we're talking to Mr. Wilfred Abrams. He is the Minister of Home Affairs, Information and Public Affairs in Barbados. Sir, I thank you for anything that you want to say. I'm giving you the last word. Anything you want to say before we go? I know, and I was warned that I was warned that you have been working very hard. That you have been doing this since 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Actually, since yesterday. I love your show. I love what you're doing. I love how you are bringing the diaspora together. I love how you are linking the Caribbean with the rest of the world. So, my brother, keep it up. It's a positive thing. And with what we're going through right now in the Caribbean with COVID, what St. Vincent is going through, what Barbados is going through with the effects of the volcano itself, then it is really good to actually get positive vibes coming from somewhere that make you feel like, hey, I want to be right there with you.
Thank you. You know what? I got one more thing. I got one more question. And here's it. You got COVID. You've got the volcano. But what about the hurricanes? Hurricane season again. So we've had a flourish of hurricanes every other year. Some tough hurricanes, some bad hurricanes. It has ripped the Caribbean apart. As a matter of fact, some countries are still trying to recover from the hurricane. So what preparation now is being made since we got COVID? Now we got the volcano, and we understand that there's rumblings in other volcanoes and other islands close to Barbados, right? I understand that Kickham Jenny might be acting up, and we're seeing that there are different spikes happening in different islands. So now what preparation is being made now for the hurricane season, for that to come?
No, the preparation for hurricane season is something that we go through every single year. So at a certain point in the year, you actually start your hurricane preparations. You start clearing drains. You start ensuring water courses are clear. People take precautions with respect to their house and storing water. So this is a way of life for us. So preparing for the hurricane season is standard for us. This doesn't come as a surprise for us. What we do hope is that we will not get hit. I'd rather us be prepared and nothing happens than for us to not prepare and then get the worst. So COVID hopefully will go away at some point in time. The volcano at some point in time will settle down, but the hurricane season will come every single year. So that is not that much of a biggie for us. It is a biggie if the hurricane actually hits. But the preparations for it, we just take it as a matter of course. We've been doing it for any time I've known myself, and the generations after us will do the same. So we just got to take it in stride, my brother.
Okay, well, listen, man, thank you very much for your time. I do appreciate it. And we wish Barbados, we wish the Caribbean, we wish all the Caribbean people all over the world also well. Thank you very much, sir. I do appreciate
And
it.
give PM Gonzalez the love from Barbados, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Caribbean Fever 107.5 WBLS.